The EndoShield DSEK Graft Injector system consists of a injector cartridge, an injector body, and a foam tip plunger. Gentle pressure on the thumb rest is used to advance the graft forward through the cartridge and into the anterior chamber. Here the cartridge is shown in its open position. Note the loading area. After the graft is pulled onto the loading area, the wings of the cartridge are closed. The tip of the cartridge will go through a clear corneal incision as small as 3.2 millimeters. Once the cartridge is closed, the DSEK graft will have the column strength to be advanced with the foam tip plunger. As the graft is advanced, a central ridge inside the cartridge will cause the graft to form a double coil where there's only stromal touch but no endothelial touch. This central ridge also helps to prevent graft rotation during injection. The double coil method of graft insertion is patent pending. Here the cartridge is shown loaded into the front of the injector body. For a right-handed surgeon, the wings of the cartridge will be turned to the right. For a left-handed surgeon, the wings of the cartridge will be turned to the left. Here the injector is shown being held in the correct position. Note that the thumb is on the thumb rest and that the cartridge tip is pointing bevel down. The first step of preparing the DSEK graft for injection is to soak the pre-cut donor cornea in balanced salt solution for 15 to 20 minutes. It is also critical to place the end of the injector body, which contains the foam tip plunger, into balanced salt solution for at least several minutes. This will assure that the foam is fully hydrated prior to injection. The donor cornea is then trephinated on an 8 to 9 millimeter Baron punch. The DSEK graft is then gently pulled onto the loading area of the cartridge. Care is taken to carefully center the graft in the middle of the cartridge. The cartridge is closed and then inspected under a microscope to ensure that the DSEK graft is symmetrically placed. The cartridge is then again opened and viscoelastic is then placed to cover the entire endothelium. The closed cartridge is then placed into the end of the injector body over the hydrated foam tip. For a right-handed surgeon, the wings are turned to the right. For a left-handed surgeon, to the left. The graft is then slowly advanced by using gentle pressure on the thumb rest until the graft is at the end of the cartridge. An elderly woman with pseudophakic bullous keratopathy and visual acuity of 2200 undergoes DSEK surgery with the EndoShield injector. Here the DSEK graft is shown being gently pulled onto the cartridge loading area. Viscoelastic is then used to completely coat the donor endothelium. The closed cartridge is then placed into the front of the injector body. For a right-handed surgeon, the wings of the cartridge are turned to the right. Here the recipient cornea is shown after Descemet's membrane has been stripped. The irrigating cannula is inserted to inflate the anterior chamber, and then the cartridge is then passed through the 3.2 millimeter clear corneal incision. Note that the cartridge has been inserted bevel down. This will allow the endothelial graft to spontaneously unfold with the endothelial side down. This central ridge within the cartridge helps to prevent graft rotation during the injection process. After the DSEK graft is completely released, The cartridge is then withdrawn from the anterior chamber. Optionally, a single suture was placed to help seal the anterior chamber. An air cannula was then used to inject an air bubble into the anterior chamber, and then the graft was centered using a reverse Sinskey hook. On postoperative day 1, there was a clear graft, and the patient had 20/50 vision without correction. Benefits of the EndoShield DSEK Graft Injector system include the ability to insert an 8 to 9 mm graft through a 3.2 mm clear corneal incision. One-handed injection without the need for additional forceps also helps to simplify DSEK surgery. Thank you for your attention. For more information, please visit caramed.com.